A kid actually stopped me the other day and asked, "Hey, if AI writes code so perfectly now, do I really still need to learn programming?" And wow, that hits right at the heart of this massive existential anxiety just paralyzing learners everywhere right now. I mean, if a machine can spit out in 3 seconds what takes us years to master, what is the point of learning anything? We are literally standing at this crazy crossroads where the whole foundation of how we get skills is being shaken up. It's fast, it's pretty terrifying, and if you're watching this explainer, you've probably felt that exact same dread. You're wondering if all those hours you spent grinding through syntax rules are already totally obsolete. But here's the thing. When we look at what AI actually is, and more importantly, what your human mind is, it completely flips this panic upside down. Because the machine, it's just the instrument. You are the logic.
That innocent little question from a student, it completely validates the biggest fear for anyone trying to focus and learn today. And you could totally swap out the word programming for writing, designing, analyzing, researching. The fear is universal across the board. When I heard that question, it hit me that we're letting this massive misunderstanding of technology completely rob us of our agency. We look at a screen spitting out flawless code or a perfectly structured essay in the blink of an eye, and we just feel, utterly defeated. We think, there is no way I can read as many books as this AI. I can't possibly memorize all that. And you know what? That is absolutely true. But actually, scratch that. It's true, but it's entirely beside the point. To really get why you still have to learn and why your human brain is more critical now than literally ever before, we have to pull back the curtain and look at the actual technical reality.
So let's break down what we're actually dealing with here. Large language models, or LLMs, are basically AI systems that generate responses by recognizing patterns and pulling information from just unbelievably massive datasets. That's the whole shebang. When you use one of these things, I know it feels like pure magic, but it is fundamentally just math and statistics operating at a crazy scale. Think about it. It has read more text than humanity has published in 1,000 years, but it doesn't actually know what a book is. When an AI rates a beautiful piece of code, it isn't sitting there having some brilliant eureka moment. It doesn't understand the why behind what it's making. It's just rapidly predicting the next most logical character based on billions of lines of data it digested from real human developers. It's basically a masterful parrot of structure. Grounding our anxiety in this technical reality, realizing it has this vast search mechanism but no real comprehension, is step one to reclaiming our power. It generates based on history. It doesn't originate based on purpose.
Okay, I want to slow down right here, because this is where the paradigm truly shifts for us. We're looking at a pretty sharp, unforgettable contrast. AI's super broad knowledge and searchability stacked directly against human creative logical thinking. AI has immense breadth, right? It can pull up an obscure coding function or a random historical fact in literally milliseconds. If the game is just recalling information or formatting data, the AI is going to win every single time. No contest. But here's the absolute crucial point. That is not what true problem solving is. Humans possess something entirely different. We have creative, logical thinking. We have the ability to look at a messy, completely unprecedented situation, understand all the weird human nuances, define what the actual problem is, and then creatively sequence a brand new solution. The AI can perfectly cut and deliver the bricks, for sure, but only human creative logic can design the cathedral. If you only train yourself to be a dictionary, yeah, you're probably going to be replaced. But if you train yourself to be the architect, the AI just becomes your most efficient builder.
And that brings us to this massive, super dangerous pitfall that so many of us are falling into right now. It's the trap of internal friction. You know that exhausting, paralyzing feeling of constantly comparing yourself to a machine? It's like you sit down to learn a new skill and this little voice in the back of your head immediately whispers, "Ugh, why bother? The AI already knows this." And suddenly you end up spending way more energy worrying about becoming obsolete than you do actually growing and learning. It is a completely useless cycle of stagnation. Comparing our human memory and our ability to recall syntax to a multi-billion parameter database, that is a rigged game, and playing it just leads to profound paralysis. When we get sucked into this internal friction, we just freeze up. We end up surrendering our unique human edge because we're too busy mourning the fact that we aren't machines. We have to violently reject this mindset. We are not competing with the database.
So how do we actually get out of this rut? How do we go from being passive, anxious learners to empowered, active problem solvers? Well, the active path takes 3 clear steps. Step 1, stop the internal friction. We just talked about this. Just acknowledge that the AI's memory is better, accept it without the ego, and let it go. Step 2, treat AI as a tool. Look, a carpenter doesn't sit around crying because a power drill spins faster than his wrist, right? He just picks up the drill and builds a house way faster. AI is a cognitive power drill. You just need to learn how to wield it, how to prompt it, and how to guide its vast knowledge to hit your specific goals. And step 3, which is honestly the most important of all, target real social problems. AI has no clue what actually matters in the real world. It doesn't know that your local community desperately needs a better scheduling system or how to navigate the messy, complex emotions of a human client. By focusing your learning on applying technology to solve actual, real-world problems, you instantly elevate yourself way above the algorithm.
This really demands a humanistic elevation that we absolutely have to embrace today. Remember, AI is the instrument, you are the logic. Think of the AI like a grand piano, and you are the pianist. That piano has all the notes, perfectly tuned, just waiting to be struck at a moment's notice. But a piano sitting alone in an empty room, it makes absolutely zero music on its own. It requires the human touch, the human emotion, and human creative logic to actually select the notes, dictate the tempo, and convey the feeling. When you're learning programming or writing or engineering today, you aren't just learning how to strike the individual keys anymore. You are learning how to compose the entire symphony. You don't learn programming to memorize syntax. You learn it to deeply understand the logic of complex systems so that you can expertly conduct the AI to write that syntax for you. AI is not your replacement, guys. It is just this incredibly profound instrument meant to serve your human ingenuity.
Now, I want to leave you with a very direct challenge. What real social problem will you use AI to solve today? Seriously, don't just close this explainer and go right back to worrying about the future. The era of passive learning is over. The era of rote memorization is totally dead. You are stepping into an age where your capacity to care, to think critically, and to creatively apply logic are your absolute greatest assets. The tools to change the world are literally sitting right there at your fingertips. The only missing ingredient? Your human intent. So I'm going to ask you one last time, and I really want you to let this linger and think about it. What real social problem will you use AI to solve today?